Hello, thank you for listening. This is a near-death experience of Brian, and this experience occurred in the winter of 1998 and was documented on June 4th, 2017, open quote. The majority of this time was mostly fraught with PTSD related to childhood trauma and clinical depression. This incident, one of the most serious actions out of all of the suicide attempts, because it was an intentional overdose and combination of drinking, street drugs, and psych medication. Prior to attempting to overdose on my own psychiatric pills, I drank several mixed cocktails at a nearby bar. I also took several types of street-grade pharmaceutical pills. Then I took my own prescription drugs. I had waited about an hour before I had become very sleepy. I made a goodbye call to a parental relative and family friend. They called 911. I fell down the stairs while trying to escape the paramedics. In the ambulance, I was asked several questions. I had lost the ability to speak in full sentences and could only say one or two words at a time. I was brought to the hospital intensive care unit. They continued to ask questions, but I could not say the actual words I wanted to say and could only mumble. During this time, I'd lost the ability to move my arms and legs. For some reason, I had an involuntary erection. After the doctors noticed my body paralysis, they asked me to communicate by blinking, but even that I could not control. The last words I had heard from a female doctor was that she could see tears coming out of my eyes. I felt her hand on my hand. Soon after those voices had stopped, I could not feel anything. The bodily sense of touch went numb. Then my vision went blurry. I had this feeling of leaving my body as I saw the room from the ceiling. Soon after, everyone and everything became like blurry colors, not unlike stained glass blobs. It was from this point that I simply felt like I was floating within this darkness. At first, it seemed like a very wide hallway that then led to an infinite darkness. The darkness wasn't just a dark space, but it was black air and dark energy. It was as if I were immersed in a pool of black water that was much thicker than water. I existed in this space, and from here, I felt as if I was moving at the speed of light. Everything seemed to be moving so fast that it was like in slow motion. Or more accurately, it was slower motion and then incredible speeds. It was as if I were inside of some sort of black hole and at the center of something. It was 3 days later that I woke up out of a coma and in the ICU. I had trouble breathing or talking for a few days because of severe chest pain. I could not sit up until a few days later. The doctor said that he was surprised that I woke up since he was not very hopeful about my waking up. He had told my family that my chances were slim. After this, I was subjected to a psychiatric hospital stay. I felt that my brush with not existing was enough for me to become much more appreciative of life and what opportunity life might bring. Open quote, or close quote. There are some questions here. Question, your highest level of consciousness. Answer, from being able to see and hear everything around me to nearly becoming everything around me. Question, at what time during your experience were you at your highest level of consciousness or alertness? Answer, consciousness was never really gone, but it was more so and had changed from the feeling of a body into the feeling of being, capital B. Question, did time seem to speed up or slow down? Answer, it seemed to feel like I were inside a black hole or an event horizon, and things either sped up in the beginning and then slowed down, but I felt as if I were going even faster than time. Question, were your senses more vivid than usual? Answer, incredibly more vivid. Comparing your vision. Answer, Vision was an ability to truly see the insides of a person when looking in their eyes. Question, comparing your hearing. Answer, it went from normal to tiny movements being heard into hearing nothing. Then after awakening, I was hearing everything again, but it all seemed clearer afterwards. Question, did you pass into or through a tunnel? Yes. Answer, yes. This was not a passing into or through a tunnel per se, but more like passing through a smaller entry space that seemed to widen into everything. Question, did you seem to enter some other unearthly world? Answer, this strange place was more like that of a deep black space, which is more like a place that felt like a non-place. Make sense? Question. What importance did you place on your religious/spiritual life prior to your experience? Answer, not important to me. Question, what was your religion prior to your experience? Answer, unaffiliated agnostic. Raised as a Roman Catholic but rejected this or all other religions by age 13. Question, have your religious practices changed since your experience? Answer, yes. I developed a positive belief that religions were merely developed out of a fear of death and a lack of understanding of our universe, physics, and space-time. Question, what importance do you place on your religious/spiritual life after your experience? Answer, not important to me. Question, what is your religion now? Answer, unaffiliated atheist, a current belief more based on those main principles of particle physics and or quantum mechanics. For instance, like an overall theory that energy never truly dies but might change form. Question, did your experience include features consistent with your earthly belief? Answer, I would say all beliefs are just that, ideas and or an idealization of what we wished our lives might be or become. Truth is much more simple than these complex constructs that we've created for ourselves like religious belief. Being able to bend with the wind, so to speak, is probably a better way to be. Question, during your experience, did you gain information about pre-mortal existence? Answer, yes. I would say that when people stop being people, they might just become a part of space and have this other sense of what a life might be. This would be nothing like as owning things. People and knowledge would be a bit less useful as one would be knowledge or one just would be. Question, during your experience, did you gain information about universal connection or oneness? Answer, yes, that we are all a part of a space, and that's basically it. Question, did you believe in the existence of God prior to your experience? Answer, I was uncertain if God exists. Question, during your experience, did you gain information about the existence of God? Answer, no. Question, do you believe in the existence of God after your experience? Answer, God does not exist. Question, during your experience, did you gain special knowledge or information about your purpose? Answer, yes, that there's a huge multiverse beyond this rinky-dink planet and our solar system. Question, during your experience, did you gain information about the meaning of life? Answer, yes, that life is short and there is much that we do not know. I'm currently finishing up a second master's degree and then possibly continuing further learning beyond this. Question, did you believe in an afterlife prior to your experience? Answer, I was uncertain if an afterlife exists. Question, do you believe in an afterlife after your experience? Answer, I am uncertain if an afterlife exists. I'd say that it led me to believe that existence after death is nothing like some sort of heaven/hell, and that having a body or a sense of human existence would seem like walking backwards. Question, did you fear death prior to your experience? Answer, I slightly feared death. Question, do you fear death after your experience? Answer, I do not fear death. Question, during your experience, did you gain information about life's difficulties, challenges, and hardships? Answer, yes, that it's all relative in the big picture, and what we want versus what we need are vastly different things. Hardship is still existing, even if it is a hard existence. Question, what life changes occurred in your life after your experience? Answer, large changes. After this experience, I did finally make changes to my own goals. I developed some goals and pursued those goals. I worked very hard to make my life the life that I wanted. I became happier, more peaceful, and less harsh on myself. Question, have your relationships changed specifically because of your experience? Answer, yes. I value certain people who value me and don't really want to waste time on those who might not value me. Question, was the experience difficult to express in words? Answer, yes. It's like trying to describe a masterwork painting to a blind person that has never seen nor experienced any colors at all. Question, how accurately do you remember the experience in comparison with other life events that occurred around the same time? Answer, I remember it more accurately. As time has passed on, this event has become much clearer than before. It might just come with age and the desire for knowledge of any such understanding. Question, do you have any psychic, non-ordinary, or other special gifts after your experience that you did not have before the experience? Answer, yes. At times, I can simply feel a sense of our world. I have very vivid dreams and often know when someone is thinking about me. I am also quite intuitive when it comes to a philosophical sense of others, having empathy, and all animals and myself seem to get along very easily. Question, are there one or several parts of your experience that are especially meaningful or significant to you? Answer, having a lack of control over my body and then realizing that the self is all relative. Question, have you ever shared this experience with others? Answer, yes. It took many years to discuss these things and or events, and people are generally amazed. But overall, I don't go into great detail like I have here. Question, what do you believe about the reality? What did you believe about the reality of your experience shortly after it happened? Answer, experience was definitely real. At first, it didn't seem real, but more like a movie I'd play in my head until more details arose from it shortly after my recovery. Question, what do you believe about the reality of your experience now? Answer, experience was definitely real. Question, at any time in your life, has anything ever reproduced any part of the experience? Answer, yes. That feeling I get when swimming or skydiving or when a plane first gets into flight, and stargazing, of course. Question, is there anything else that you would like to add about your experience? Answer, prior to this suicide attempt, I had attempted before this to hang myself with a noose and rope and felt that I had simply been lucky to have survived. End quote. And I'm glad you did survive, Brian, and it sounds like that you really made some positive changes in your life, and that's awesome. Thank you for that story and sharing with us those details. And thank you for listening. I hope you guys have a great day.